Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Commodity TV. We are in Zurich here. Denver Gold Forum is over, but we are at the Osisko Group dinner. And now we want to talk to Osisko Development for an update with Alex Dunn, the CFO of the company. Welcome, Alex. Great to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for taking the time. And I'm normally used to talk to Sean Rosen, but unfortunately he's not here. But pleasure to have you here. That is fantastic. I'm a shareholder in the company, and for me, the most important question is, I think, as a lot of other shareholders, because I saw it in the comments we received on YouTube and via email, the resource estimate for Trixie, and I think there was, let's call it a little bit of a market disappointment. I used it to buy cheap. That was good. But please, some comments on that.
Sure. So the acquisition of Tintic Consolidated Metals was done in May of 2022. At the time, we had paid just under 200 million Canadian dollars for that asset. It is split up into main categories. There's a gold potential as well as a copper porphyry potential. So on the gold side, on the mineral resource estimate that you're referring to, we've only scratched the surface of exploration. So the current MRE that we press released on in March is showing a just over 200,000 ounces of gold, grading at approximately 14 grams per ton. That is only a small portion of that property. The properties that we own is over 17,000 hectares. So right now, the current position is that we need to do a lot more work at Trixie, the gold deposit, in order to build up the resource. So a lot more drilling needs to come. Originally, when we acquired the company, the intent was to have some production, possibly generate enough cash flow to support exploration. Unfortunately, that production profile, being that it was using vat leach, is not economical. So we took a step back and focusing now on the exploration potential of that side. The second component at Tintic as well is the porphyry, which is quite exciting to us. We're currently drilling 2 holes at a site that we call Big Hill. It's roughly 2.5 kilometers from the Trixie deposit. We've completed 1 hole and about halfway on the second hole. We expect to have results in early June. And as you're probably aware, our neighbor is Ivanhoe Electric. They're also quite excited about their copper potential there. So we're just simply at this point with Tintic is scratching the surface. At the time, there was these high expectations that we would be revenue generating and et cetera and that. Unfortunately, that hasn't happened. However, we haven't lost our enthusiasm about the potential at that property. As I mentioned, it's a very large property with a lot of potential to go. We need to do more work.
Okay, so we can say maybe it's not because it felt in the first instance, it felt like a fail. But to me, it looks like more, okay, it's a bit postponed because you have to recalibrate the direction.
That's exactly correct. The Plan A was, to have a production, essentially generate cash flows enough to support future exploration. That hasn't worked out on the production side. It has not changed the potential of the project. There's a lot of gold potential as well as the copper. So we still believe this is a great property. The second point I'd add is capital allocation right now is our internally our most difficult thing. We have projects that require capital. So allocating capital to the various projects we have is very difficult. This leads me to Cariboo Gold Project, where we received our environmental assessment certificate in October of 2023. That was a major milestone for the company. Our next big milestone is the mining permit, which we're expecting in this summer in 2024. So we're all resources and efforts, or the majority of resources and efforts, are put towards the Cariboo Gold Project in British Columbia. And again, because we have limited funds, we have a healthy treasury. We've also recently closed a credit facility of $50 million that allows us to develop Cariboo Gold even further. But having said that, being prudent, we need to focus on Cariboo Gold Project. And then once we've established a good runway with Cariboo Gold Project. We, Trixie and the porphyry, Tintic is not forgotten. We will be coming back.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, let's stay with the Cariboo shortly.
Sure.
Where do you see, let's say, time-wise, or let's say the next big steps then for Cariboo? Because I also had the feeling this is a fantastic project to be brought in production, and you can earn a lot of money with that. That's why I'm a shareholder also.
Yeah, so we issued our feasibility in January of 2023. The economics were quite good. It's a two-phase approach for the project. We start at a 1,500 ton per day rate and for 3 years, and then ramp up to a 4,900 tons per day. The permit under British Columbia allows up to 5,000 tons per day. So that's how the structure is. Our reserves and resource is approximately 5.2 million ounces. So the feasibility is working with 2 million ounces, which are the reserves, and the economics on that are, an IRR of 21%. The NPV is north of $500 million, and life of mine is 12 years. I would add that given that we've only scratched again the surface, a large land package at Cariboo, there's a lot more potential for adding ounces. That will require further exploration as well, but we believe that this is just scratching the first step of the Cariboo Gold Project. We believe that there are many more years to add to the life of mine, and all your economic indices will also greatly benefit from that as well.
Absolutely. Maybe a little bit of let's say, a guess. When could this be in production? I know you cannot be precise, but just to give us a feeling.
Sure. So our timeline right now is summer of 2024 is the permit. We're also, we're just commencing a bulk sample at Cariboo Gold Project. Essentially, it's a 1.2 kilometer ramp or decline, which in order to test the ore sorting capability. So we have a technology that we're using with the project that essentially splits, I'll call it in simple terms, good ore and bad ore. And what that does is it mitigates your carbon footprint, it reduces your operating costs and tailings, et cetera. That technology is actually quite well known. I met a few investors today that understand this technology quite well. However, in North America, not as well known. Some of the groups that we've met and potential lenders, et cetera, would like us to test that technology and proof of concept. So right now we're about to commence that. That will intersect with the granting of the mining permit. Once will be, let's assume end of June 2024, the permit is granted. That the bulk sample will still be continuing. We're estimating that to be completed somewhere around the end of October. Between that June and October timeframe, lenders will be excited. So we will as well. There will be a lot of discussions about the funding. Once the proof of concept is shown in let's call it early November, the ramp up construction would commence somewhere in early 2025. So if 18 months production, somewhere in 2026, we would estimate our first production at Cariboo Gold Project.
Super. That's a good 2.5 years.
Correct.
I mean, that's a foreseeable thing. Absolutely.
So, and plus or minus, there's always some movement, but right now the traction on the mining permit is excellent. The government is very supportive. Communities, our First Nation partners, everyone is very supportive on getting the project moving ahead. So, when we received the environmental assessment certificate in October of 2023, it was on time and when we expected it, and the government of BC, British Columbia, was, as I mentioned, very supportive in making sure the project does come on stream.
Fantastic. As you are the CFO, do you think the treasury you have is enough until you have the project finance? Is that good?
So we filed, or we presented just under 44 million CAD at the end of the year. December 31st is our year end. We closed on March 1st a credit facility of $50 million US that allows for the development at the Cariboo Gold Project. Financing is key. So the large financing package will be key. If I step back, the credit facility of $50 million US is a bridge loan. So it's a bridge to get us to the major financing. So yes, if we can get to the mining permit and the next step of the financing, then yes, we are in good shape.
That's good to hear. Great. So I would say you are, on that sense, really on track, definitely. I think with the Trixie Tintic thing, one step back, but sometimes one step back brings you 2 or 3 steps further. So I think, as said, to really, sometimes you cannot adjust the wind, but you can adjust the sails, yeah, right? I think that's exactly what happened there. Maybe some words on San Antonio, because you have stockpile processing here, and you are also advancing the permitting for production. What's the status there?
So yeah, so San Antonio, we had an existing stockpile, and it produced roughly 13,600 ounces. That's been completed in 2023. The San Antonio project has a very interesting or very opportunistic deposit. On the sulfide side, we haven't drilled that project a lot. It's only been 27,000 meters. So there's a lot more work to be done. Unfortunately, at the end of 2022, the government of Mexico issued a moratorium on granting of open pit permits. So that put a stop on major investing into Mexico, given that we weren't sure where that's going. Currently, there's a project to put in law this no open pit operation going forward for new mines. Obviously, very concerning for not just us, but all mining companies in Mexico. So we are in a wait and see situation. We are exploring our options with Mexico, what we do next. But on the ranking, it is definitely our third priority.
Exactly. Yeah. Let's call it the wild card.
Yes.
Okay. Super. Well, perfect, Alex. Thank you very much for the update. I think, as you said, a lot of work has to be done, but you are financially in good shape. And I think when Cariboo really starts to rock, that helps the whole company. And with Tintic and Trixie, we will see. And maybe, who knows, with the copper porphyry, what comes out of that. Super.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it was Alex Dann, the CFO of Osisko Development. You heard it. Some hurdles you have sometimes in mining, and some you can influence. Sometimes you cannot. You have to wait and see, like in Mexico with the open pit ban, I would call it. But I think with the next government, it looks definitely different. But I must say, I like the Cariboo project a lot. This was one of the reasons why I'm a shareholder. And I think they are now going here full throttle, really forward, and they have the money to execute. That is important. And also with Tintic and Trixie, I think they will come over that. That will work. As Alex said, we scratch the surface only. So let's see what more surface scratches will bring. Check out the company. Thanks for watching us, and bye-bye from Zurich.